Welcome. Oh, man. Back to this. I knew this was going to happen. You just know sometimes that the unenlightened will open their mouth and decide to speak. I knew this was going to challenge people's ideology on what they believe and what they know about, and it would expose their lack of knowledge when it comes to basketball. We knew this. It's not surprising for us. And the reason why is that we see this happen so many times. There's a lot of people that just don't understand the game of basketball. And when you try to relate to them on a level that they should be able to understand, we run into this discord where people don't seem to understand the agendas of the league or the policies, and they just only see what's in front of them. And I relate this to being a poker player and a person that plays poker. And this one gentleman who calls himself Sports and let me see what your name is exactly. So we don't
not about just agreeing
anything wrong with your name. His name is like Sports and Rants or something. Let me see, what is your full name?
Couple of minutes here, a couple minutes there.
Sports and Fitness Rants. Okay, so he seems like a fitness instructor who's talking basketball. Okay, so he's a basketball enthusiast who's probably a fitness guy, because I heard him saying, like, you probably can't get up the stairs, you know. Again, generalizing. Definitely somebody who hasn't watched me, who walked for 2 hours with no water straight. So I definitely can get up a flight of stairs. That wouldn't be my problem. Now, when you get involved in situations where people just don't understand the game, they think they do, and they think they have the right reasoning for what they're doing, they make rants. And they think because they talk fast and loud, it makes sense. Now, my question was, name a team that was better than the 89 championship Piston team. And not only did he not name this team, his whole argument was that the Chicago Bulls didn't have a team. I'm like, well, name a Chicago Bulls team. He's never named, in 30 minutes of his ranting, never named one Chicago Bulls team that was better than the 89 Pistons. He just ran it on about Michael Jordan, which was proving my point. Proving my point exactly. You seem to be a Knicks fan, probably, but you got Jordan and Dr. J in your background. So this tells me a lot. Just by the symbolism, it tells me a lot about what I'm dealing with. And everybody wanted me to respond to this. Like, you got to respond to this guy. And I'm like, for what? But there's nothing to respond to. That's the thing. It's just him ranting. So I'm responding to a guy ranting and not making points.
And you decipher, between yourself, right? Among yourself, you decipher what you want to listen to. Coming with facts, guys, and evidence. If you're actually speaking. He went over 33 minutes rambling about how the Detroit Pistons were so much better than any Chicago Bulls team, and that Michael Jordan never led a team that was ever greater than the Detroit Pistons of the late 80s. And this guy's talking about the 89, the 90 Pistons, the back-to-back champion Pistons, because that's what he's talking about. And I don't understand.
Yes, that's what I was talking about, because that was the title of the video. But yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Understand how anyone could ever think that the 89 Pistons or the 1990 Pistons or somehow those two teams are greater than any Chicago Bulls team that Michael Jordan was ever on or ever won a championship with. I've never heard anyone say Chicago Bulls team.
Listen to this.
All right, and that's what me agreeing with this person is why I support them. It has nothing to do with that. If you're telling the facts, if you're giving evidence and facts to support your opinion or whatever view you have, then I have nothing to say about this. If you're coming with facts, guys, and evidence, if you're actually speaking the truth here, you're actually giving reality. You're not just talking emotions and backing up your opinions with emotions, backing up opinion with more opinion, backing up opinion with more stories and lies and narratives. All right, and that's what I'm getting from this guy Karceno in this video that was sent to me. So like I said, I was sent the video, I think it was like a 30-minute live stream that he did a couple of days ago. And this man went on for 33 minutes talking about nothing. He went on for 33 minutes rambling about how the Detroit Pistons were so much better than any Chicago Bulls team, and that Michael Jordan never led a team that was ever greater than the Detroit Pistons of the late 80s. And this guy's talking about the 89, the 90 Pistons, the back-to-back champion Pistons, because that's what he's talking about. And I don't understand how anyone could ever think that the 89 Pistons or the 1990 Pistons or somehow those two teams are greater than any Chicago Bulls team that Michael Jordan was ever on or ever won a championship with. I've never heard anyone say it before.
Just because you've never heard anyone say it before, that's why your brain is being rattled. You need everybody's validation for it to be true. You need a bunch of people in a circle to say it for you so it can make sense. That what you telling me?
The other guy, Jimmy High Roller, right? Think if you're telling the fact, if you're giving evidence, Chicago Bulls team better than the Detroit Pistons teams. None. Jordan never had a better team ever about. And I saw this video, because I was sent this video of this clown, Karceno for Life, talking about how there were no Chicago Bulls teams led by Michael Jordan that were ever better than the Detroit Pistons of the late 80s into the early 90s. There are no Chicago Bulls teams. He said there is no Chicago Bulls team better than the Detroit Pistons teams.
There is
none. Jordan never had a better team straight. Stopping the lies, stopping the narrative, stopping them from rewriting history, guys. And in this video, we're going to set the record straight once again on this fool Karceno for Life. Dude, what the hell is this dude talking about, man? Shout out to my man King Al for sending me this video that this dude posted. I guess he did a live stream a couple of days ago. I think it was like Friday night or something like that. This dude did a live stream that, I don't know what this dude is talking about. This guy Karceno for Life. This guy's a big YouTube channel, man. I've seen this guy before. I've never really watched his videos. He's never really appealed to me. The way that he does his videos is, to me, nonsense, man. To me, I don't know what this guy. I don't know what he's talking about. And I saw this video, because I was sent this video of this clown, Karceno for Life, talking about how there were no Chicago Bulls teams led by Michael Jordan that were ever better than the Detroit Pistons of the late 80s into the early 90s. There are no Chicago Bulls teams. He said there is no Chicago Bulls team better than the Detroit Pistons teams.
That's true.
None. Jordan never had a better team, ever led a team better than the Detroit Pistons. I don't know what this guy's talking about. These guys are weird, man. Karceno's a weird dude, man. I mean, just look at that clown, man. Come on, man. These dudes are weirdos. Never played sports. Karceno can't make up a flight of stairs. Yeah, here talking about Michael Jordan, the Bulls, man. Weird stuff that don't make any sense. The Bulls were propaganda, he said. They were media propaganda, the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. And he's just talking crazy. We're going to talk about this video, man. I don't know what the hell this dude is talking about. How could you make a stretch like that? Where do these guys come from, man, with these takes? They just talk to talk, man. Weirdos out here. There's no Chicago Bulls teams that Michael Jordan was on that was better than the Pistons? Wow, man. We're going to talk about this video, man. I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world, everyone across the states, man, has been supporting my channel. Once again, you guys know I am truly, truly humbled, man. Much respect to all you guys out there that continue to support my channel, man. It really means a lot, guys. Thank you very much, man. And you guys know what to do, man. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember these videos of an educational that would pop up when I first was coming on YouTube, right? I'll read off some of the things that he actually said that don't make any sense to me. But the weird thing about this guy is I believe he's from Chicago. I feel like I've heard him say multiple times, Chi-Town's finest. Dude, you're Chi-Town's finest? That's pretty embarrassing for Chicago, man. Shout out to anybody from Chicago, man. And you guys know this guy Karceno, man. And I'm not saying that he's not from Chicago and he don't represent Chicago, but damn, dude, you're embarrassing. If I was from Chicago, I'd be embarrassed for the things that you were saying. This man came on a live stream and went over 33 minutes about Michael Jordan ain't this, Michael Jordan wasn't that, the Bulls weren't this, the Bulls weren't that, while wearing a Chicago Bulls sweater.
What? I was wearing a Chicago Bulls sweater. Nobody in this universe has ever seen me wear Chicago Bulls anything. Not a hat. Not I have no idea what this man is talking about. A Chicago Bulls sweater. Wow. This is crazy. Oh yeah, we'll get to all of this. I just want him to get it all out.
In the background, he's got Detroit Pistons stuff all in the background. Dude, you sound ridiculous. You're saying you're Chi-Town's finest, but you're a Detroit Pistons lover? You're a Detroit Pistons fanboy. And I don't want to hear because Isaiah Thomas is from Chicago. That's why you're a Pistons fan.
That's the truth. You don't want to hear it, but it's the truth.
Again, man, that's prime for you fools out here. Detroit Pistons, Isaiah Thomas is mad about Michael Jordan and the Bulls because Michael Jordan gets more love from the city of Chicago than Isaiah Thomas does when he's from Chicago.
See, this is what I'm talking about. A documentary listener. That's not why he don't get along with Michael Jordan. It's the things that Michael Jordan did is the reason why he don't like Michael Jordan. They never had a problem. Even during that time, oh, he hated Michael Jordan and all this. They never had a problem. Even after the Dream Team thing was over and after all the stuff Jordan did that led to that, after the fact, Isaiah and Jordan never had a problem. Isaiah showed Mike nothing but love all this time. He had no idea Jordan was harboring these feelings for him all of these years, even though they were cool, cordial. He never said a bad word about Michael Jordan in his life. And then this happens. When The Last Dance come out, who they invited, they asked Isaiah to come do The Last Dance, knowing that they finna sabotage and go behind him and record this, calling him an a-hole and all this stuff. And it was like, whoa. That's how you feel? My family took care of you when you came to Chicago. Isaiah Thomas' family, his nephew lived with Michael Jordan when he came to the Bulls. His brother, Michael Jordan, brother Larry, and Isaiah Thomas' sisters were best friends. They didn't date, but she would take Larry to the play. He would go to the club and stuff with them. They were cool with the Thomas family here in Chicago. Jordan never discussed that because Michael Jordan is a snake and a liar. And see, this is what I keep telling you. You don't know these people. You know these documentaries, and they keep lying to you. That's why you don't understand the goddamn thing. And you run outside and try to tell people who don't know basketball and who don't know what. You done ran into the wrong one, kid. But I'm going to let you keep bumping your head. You still think I got on Bulls jerseys and what's not. I'm like, ugh. You took a left.
They've adopted Michael Jordan. That's his city. That's his city, Chicago. But here this guy, Karceno for life.
Chicago is not Michael Jordan's city, okay? He played here, and he made it like it's his own, but he never did nothing in this city. Michael Jordan wasn't doing no charitable things in the city. He wasn't in the community doing anything, even early in his career. Then he started the Michael Jordan Foundation. This is why Craig Hodges was mad at Mike. Like, man, you can't even come show love over here. You go where the white kids is. The black kids out here buying your shoes too. These people love you. Why you can't do nothing for your people? And he got Craig Hodges removed from the team. He was one of the people that got Craig out of there. So we'll let this go on.
Talking about the Bulls were never this. Michael Jordan crying to the NBA. The Detroit Pistons were better than any Bulls team. What are you talking about, man? Why are you wearing a bear sweater? You're from Chicago, but here.
Okay, now you got it right. You're wearing a bear sweater, right? I was wearing a Bears sweater, not a Bulls sweater. Two different teams, homie.
You are running your mouth about the Chicago Bulls. It doesn't make any sense. If you want to support Isaiah Thomas because he's from Chicago, then support Isaiah Thomas, man. Support him. Support the Pistons. But how are you going to crap on the Chicago Bulls to lift the Pistons up and you from Chi-Town? You're a weird dude, my man.
No, I'm not. You just explained it. You said, hey, prop Isaiah Thomas up. I'm propping him up because I know what he was. I watched the games. I watched the teams. If somebody was better, I would tell you they were better. I asked you, to provide a team that from the Bulls that was better than them.
And like I said, you didn't come with any facts. You came with nothing. Nothing to.
I didn't come with any facts. I definitely did come with facts, but you was probably too busy talking all through my video that you wasn't listening. Or maybe you suffer from dyslexia and you can't process anything that I'm saying. So that's probably was, the problem. You didn't understand. Now, if y'all know if he's online, you could tell him to come on up. I will drop the link for you. You can come on in and get roasted live. You can come right up and get roasted live. Live. Jordan was born in Brooklyn. So you want to say a Carolina boy come run in the city? No, he don't run nothing here.
Support your opinion of weird statements you were making. It's not even an opinion to me. How do you even say that the Detroit Pistons are better than any Chicago Bulls team ever? That the Pistons are the best team of all time? Is this what you're trying to say? That 89 Pistons or the 90 Pistons, the back-to-back Pistons are the best basketball team in NBA's history?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Come on, that sounds insane to say that.
Why would it sound insane? It would sound insane to a nut hugger who don't understand basketball. If it sounds insane, I wouldn't have said it. I ain't say the Charlotte Hornets are the greatest team in the NBA in history and they was just underrated. No, I said a team that's definitely one of the best basketball teams ever. So it's not illogical for me to say that. But let's go.
Loud, but this guy was standing on it, and he said a bunch of weird stuff that don't add up, which lets me know that this guy Karceno for life, however old he is, I don't give a damn how old he is. The dude looks like probably way older than me. He probably younger than me, but he look older than me. Dude, Karceno, you look like hell, dude. You need to watch some of my fitness videos. You need to get outside and get some sun, my man. Stop drinking, stop smoking, whatever the hell you're doing before you make this live stream. Cut it out your life, because you sound ridiculous and you look like hell, dude. You look like hell. Like I said, this man can't walk up a flight of stairs, but he's out here talking about basketball. All these guys got all these opinions. They got something to say about these athletes when they were never athletes. They're still not an athlete. They were never athletic. They never competed in sports. They just run their mouths. These guys were hanging out on the block. These guys are hanging out in the corner of the block their whole lives. Now they want to talk about sports? You guys never played the sport. You guys were never into sports. You guys.
Did you ever play the sport? Bro. In high school, they asked me, the head coach of our basketball team asked me to play. He says, do you want to play basketball? Okay, I don't have to do a fitness test. I walk out and do 2-hour live streams walking with no water daily, every day. Now, let's get this in here. Dog, how you cooking with no ingredients? See, this is what I'm talking about. You got to have substance to cook. This man is not, he hasn't said anything. He's repeated the same thing over and over again and still hasn't made a point. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. This is the most ridiculous. He for 15 minutes ranting about what I said, but still has not refuted anything that I've said yet. So he's wasted 15 minutes of talking and yapping and hasn't made a point. Right, to somebody who's ignorant, you would believe he's cooking. He's not cooking. This is a show. This is what I mean, cooking without ingredients. You got to have ingredients. You got to have something of tangible goods to cook me. There's no information here. He has not provided any. Prove me wrong. That's what I'm waiting for him to do. Prove me wrong.
Out there trying to be hustlers, trying to be fake tough guys.
Bro, look, I was chosen, asked by the high school basketball coach, please join my team. Not try out. Please join my team. In high school, senior year, I'm playing basketball. We're shooting around. They're getting ready to have practice. We in the gym shooting, playing basketball. And he was like, why don't you try out for the team? He's like, no, why don't you come join the team? He didn't say try out. He said join. And I said, nah, I ain't want to. And he was like, no, I can get you on the team. The coach had no problem because they were losing. The team had won some games, but they were losing. They were a bad team. They had bad players on the team, and most of the people on the team, I was cooking on the court. So he wanted me to just get on the team. I'm like, Coach, nah, man, because I'm about winning. If I see you got a group of players that's not about winning, I'm not gonna waste my time to play with a bunch of people that's not trying to win. That's not what I wanted to do. The football coach, same thing. I was better at football than basketball. Once again, why don't you come to practice? We gonna practice. He wanted to see me after watching me. The guy was trying to audition to be the quarterback, wanted me to go out and catch passes. He throwing these deep balls and I'm running out there catching them. He was, hey man, yeah. My boy was on the football team. He used to always bring me up, like, man, you should try out for football. I'm going for the team. I'm like, man, I ain't trying to play with y'all. Because y'all don't want to win. We lost. We were like 0-12. We ain't win no games our whole senior year. Not one game. Nobody was showing up for practice. They didn't want to play. They didn't care. I care about winning and losing. I'm not going to get my head knocked off and nobody's there to try to win because I know how passionate I am and what I play the game for. Now, I go to college. Guess who's my coach, boy? You brought him up in the video. You mentioned Craig Hodges. Y'all haven't heard that yet, but he mentions Craig Hodges. Let me tell you about Craig Hodges, sir. He was our coach at our basketball coach at our school. He was trying to get back in the NBA, but he was our basketball coach. Craig Hodges used to play with us and play basketball with us. Craig Hodges could shoot from half court. So he was doing Steph Curry stuff way before Steph. And he saw me play and said, come join the team. Why are you not on the team? I'm like, I got a job, coach. I can't, I got a job. I got to work, man. I can't be tied up in this. And plus, they don't want to win. Half of your team don't want to show up to play, and then they'll just quit in the game. In the middle of the game, they quit. So I was like, I know how I play. I'm playing to win. So, and we had some of the best players the city had in that gym. And he saw what I was doing with them, playing on the court with Dre, Andrell Horde, Lee Cummins. I'm like, I'm on the floor with hoopers, real hoopers. So I'm sorry, we knew the game, and you just gave credit to Craig Hodges just earlier in here. And yes, so he asked me to be on the team. I used to play with Craig and the rest of the guys. So I know exactly about the game. Sorry, sir. You probably just don't know, the things that I was capable of. But I was Steph Curry before he was even born. Do I need to confirm the dates? Just go back and look, when did Craig Hodges ever coach college? Very, very easy for you to confirm that date. Go see what school he coached and look that up. So, right or wrong, you are wrong. Now, when I said the Bad Boy Pistons and name a team from the Chicago Bulls that's better, I'm just going to fast forward because he's all over the place. He's not even getting to a point. Let me just explain it to him nice and slow. There you go. There you go, Michael. You got it. Now, let me get it to the point where people would understand what I'm trying to say here. Is I said name a Chicago Bulls team that was better. He still did not name one. So I'll do you the favor and I'll just eliminate every single goddamn Chicago Bulls team there is from 1991 on. All right. Since that'll make more sense to you. 1991 Chicago Bulls roster. Let's get into that, please. Let's look up the Chicago Bulls 1991 team. Okay. Do they have a roster here? Okay, and we want to share the roster with you guys. Okay. Now we got B.J. Armstrong, Bill Cartwright, Horace Grant, Craig Hodges, Dennis Hobson, Michael Jordan, Stacey King, Cliff Levingston, John Paxson, Will Perdue, Scottie Pippen, Scott Williams. Now, who was the starting five for the Chicago Bulls in 1991? It was John Paxson, Michael Jordan is the backcourt, okay? We're clear on this, right? You brought up Craig Hodges before, sir. I remember when you did that, but that's cool. But I think you were talking about a whole nother year. But this is in 91 when the Bulls won the championship. Okay? Now, he says that I was a complete clown for saying this. Now they got Scottie Pippen, Bill Cartwright, and Horace Grant. That's the starting five. Let's go to the 1989 Detroit Pistons roster. Oh my God. They shoot up straight with the photos. They don't even have to go anywhere. They come right with the photos for us. Bam. Okay, let's get it up there. The 89 Pistons, Lambert, Edwards, Mark Aguirre, Rodman, Joe Dumars, Michael Williams, Isaiah Thomas, Sally, Vinnie Johnson, Daryl Dawkins, Finis Dembo, and Rick Mahorn. Who was the starting five? Joe Dumars, Isaiah is the backcourt. Bill Lambert, James Edwards, and Rick Mahorn. So that's your lineup. Coming off the bench, you have Dennis Rodman, John Sally, Mark Aguirre, and Vinnie Johnson. And you're telling me the Chicago Bulls of 1991 have a better roster and were a better basketball team than the 89 Pistons? Must be out your fucking mind. Like I told you, I don't talk about basketball unless I know it. This man said the Pistons, all they did was hurt people. There's a difference from playing rough and hurting people. Yeah, there is a difference. They were dirty. There's a difference from being physical and dirty. Physical and dirty. What do you consider dirty? They foul people after the play. Let me tell you something, Mr. Sports and Fitness guy. Maybe you need to stick to the fitness because everybody was hurting people back then. Everybody was getting hit after the play. There was a lot of that going on. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar knocked the guy out on the court. Every team was physical. Jack Sigma and the Milwaukee Bucks. Are you kidding? That team would annihilate you. They had guys that threaten you on the court not to come to the hole. They're going to lay you out. That's how the game was played in that era. The only reason that they mention the Detroit Pistons so much is because we won championships. You think Moses Malone, when Doc was on the team, that they were some nice guys? They just played physical? They just played physical. The Pistons was trying to injure people. Who did they injure? The Pistons were trying to injure people. Who did they injure? Who left the game on the stretcher with the Pistons? Nobody. We were just a better basketball team. From a basketball perspective, you didn't understand what we were doing because you didn't watch the damn games. You watched these damn documentaries and they got your brains all scrambled. Had you watched the games, then you would see and you would understand what we're talking about. He was like, we, what's this we stuff? We, because that's my goddamn team. Dude, that's what I'm talking about, we. It ain't them, it's we. And you sound like you from New York. Why ain't you rolling with the Knicks? I heard him say the Knicks played tough defense. See, they was physical, but they wasn't dirty. Charles Oakley wasn't dirty. Oakley did, that's all he did was throw 30 plays. He was slow and would take dirty, cheap shots. He took a cheap shot on Barkley when Barkley was on the Suns, and Barkley lit him up for 30-something points. The very next game, they promoted it. And this was after the Bad Boy Pistons. So stop telling me what documentaries and the agenda of the NBA wanted to sell you. That's why it was false propaganda, because the Bulls became what they wanted to be. The marketing tool of the NBA with the new deal with NBC. They weren't in the business of the NBA. They was in the business of Michael Jordan. That's a difference. The same way you probably got a pair of Jordans at home and got Jordan posted all in the background with Doc in the background. And when I said pass the torch, you obviously didn't know what I was talking about, because I've never heard anybody in the history of basketball who knows anything about basketball actually say the things that you said. Okay? Because if you would have listened to that video, you would have heard this clearly. I said clearly, so everyone could hear it, that this was the next notion. This was everything that was laid out on the table. I said clearly about my team and about passing the torch is that the NBA has a torch being passed, meaning the ambassador of the sport. It doesn't mean the guy who's winning all the championships or who they think gonna win the title this year. It don't matter. You said they were gonna give that torch. It was supposed to go to Cleveland or the Knicks. That's how I know you don't know basketball. You don't know anything about basketball. Who you think Magic Johnson? Who are you gonna give it to? Mark Price? Here, Craig Elo. Here's the torch. Are you insane? What are you talking about? They gonna pass the torch to a New York Knick? What gonna do? Patrick Ewing, you're the new face of the league. No. Once you said that, I knew you didn't know what the hell you were talking about, sir. I knew it. You didn't know what the hell you were talking about. And I said, oh my God, you don't even get that. Anybody that knows basketball, I talk to people that play in the league. We conversate. You know why? Because they know I know the damn game. They know who's just a fan and who don't know the game. I wouldn't be able to sit down and conversate with these guys and we talked about the sport and break down the games and what's actually happening on the court if I don't know the game. So if I'm telling you something, it's from a perspective of basketball sense. Now, let's get this in perspective, right? Here's the thing that people don't seem to get. Dr. J had the torch. He was the ambassador of the sport. Then when Magic and Bird came along, it was passed to Magic and Bird. It was never Kareem's. They weren't making the league around Kareem. Kareem was hated in the NBA because the media hated him. He was standoffish. He didn't want to be that guy. Magic came and changed everybody's feelings about Kareem, and he did the Airplane movie and turned around his image. He was the standoff Muslim and, he hated the media. He was very, very much disliked in the NBA. So he never had the torch. It went from Dr. J, who won 2 championships in the ABA, by the way, before the NBA absorbed the ABA. He was basically playing with the best players over there. So when he came over, he was the ambassador. It was Doc. We got Dr. J in the NBA. So Dr. J had that torch. It was passed to Magic and Bird. They had rivalry. They had Boston and LA, and those two on the pedestal. They gave that torch to them to carry the light of the league, to be the ambassadors of the sport. And as that went on and they were getting near the end, the torch was supposed to go to Jordan, who came out of nowhere, the stratosphere, to be the new pillar of the NBA. So they're passing it to him. It wasn't about championships. Okay. The thing was supposed to get passed to him. They're like, okay, we're at the end of our rope. The person that's going to take it is them. But the Pistons came along and ruined all of that because they were the ones denying Michael Jordan the road to the championship. We were the ones that was beating him in the Eastern Conference Finals, right? We're stopping him. So I don't understand. Then you're upset that I'm saying that Jordan's best year was 88. I'm not saying that was the best version of Michael Jordan. That's not what I'm saying. Statistically, you Chicago Bulls fans say 88 was his best year because he won all of the accolades, Defensive Player of the Year, MVPs, and he was the scoring champ, and all the awards he won in 88. So defensively and offensively, they say he was a better player in 88. That was Air Jordan era. I don't really count the Air Jordan era of him being at his best. I feel he was more better in 96, 97, 98 because he learned how to be more efficient with his scoring, better shooter, and he didn't have to use as much energy. He had figured the game out by then. But at that time, the Bad Boy Pistons are long gone. That team is basically disbanded. Everybody, Isaiah Lambert, they're retired. They're all gone by then. So there was nothing for Michael to do but win. But the 96 team, which is basically a put-together team with 3 Detroit Pistons on it, how's that going to be better than the Bad Boy Pistons of 89? 96? Really? Now you want to go to the 1992 roster for the Chicago Bulls? Okay. Let's go to the 92 roster since we see 91 is pretty much ridiculous. With no bench whatsoever. You got B.J. Armstrong coming off the bench with Cliff Levingston and Stacey King and Will Perdue. Yeah. Ooh. I'm shaking in my boots. I think I like the Detroit Pistons odds. Now, in 1992, the Chicago Bulls roster is this: Cartwright, Paxson. We got, let me see, let's pull that up for you. We got, oh yeah, I'm gonna open the panel up. So anybody want to come on up? They feeling froggy? Y'all want to come on up and talk that shit? You come talk that shit. I'm gonna open the panel up. It's Bill Cartwright, John Paxson, Scottie Pippen, Rodney McRae, B.J. Armstrong, Michael Jordan, Stacey King, Trent Tucker, Horace Grant, Scott Williams, Darrell Walker, and Chuck Nevin. Darrell Walker from Chicago, who was friends with Michael Jordan and everybody else on the team. But let's go to the starting 5, right? It's John Paxson, Michael Jordan, Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen, and Bill Cartwright. Same starting 5. Now, who's coming off the bench now? We got B.J. Armstrong. We got Stacey King, Scott Williams. Darrell Walker was over the hill. You got Trent Tucker and Chuck Nevin and Rodney McRae. Rodney McRae, really? That dude was slow in slow motion. Once again, you have a weak bench. You have no bench. The 89 Pistons would chew through this team. chew through it. Look at that roster. Are you kidding me? And you think I'm insane? This is the team that won almost 72 games. This is the team Michael Jordan said was the best team he ever played on. Until he made a commercial talking about the 96 Bulls. He said the 92 Bulls was the best team he ever played on. That was out his mouth. Look at that team. But that's neither here nor there. We know why they won in 92. That was probably the worst playoff team. They was getting exposed in the playoffs. They went 7 games with the Knicks because Scottie Pippen was scared of Xavier McDaniels. All because he was scared. They was going 7 games with the Knicks. And if they didn't have home court, they would have lost. And they was about to lose to the Portland Trail Blazers. Portland just didn't know how to close the game out and let these bums run off all these points on the team. Because what happened is somebody here then got traded because they ended up getting another player, Bobby Hansen, I think at the All-Star break. And Bobby Hansen was a three-point shooter, and he came in and was way better than anything they had on the court. So they picked him up in that same season. Now, let's go to 1993 Bulls roster. Yeah, let's get this going. This one, the Bulls team was even worse. The Knicks had a better record than them this year. Starting lineup is who? Jordan, Pippen, Paxson, Cartwright, Horace Grant. And now you got Rodney McCray, Stacey King, Darrell Walker, Trent Tucker, and B.J. Armstrong coming off the bench with Dave Johnson. This team was even worse. Even worse. Paxson's older. They can't really get up and down the way they used to. Jordan is really carrying the bulk of the team. Scottie Pippen's mad. He signed a bad contract. Horace Grant is the team, the player that was saving the team a lot that year as he was starting to come into his own in 93. He was getting a lot more responsibility and a lot better because he got glasses. He got to start wearing the goggles now. You know, he started putting those goggles on and really was starting to play and getting some actual plays and was putting some work in on his game. Now, again, at this point, where was the Bad Boy Pistons? Out. Everybody's injured. Everybody's about to retire. 93 was a terrible year for us. We were done at that time. We were completely out of it. There was nobody in the East that really could contend with them. They thought the Knicks was ready, but they were the Knicks. So they were going to find a way to lose. The Knicks don't have leadership. Pat is not a leader. You know, and that's why they lose down the stretch of games because they don't know how to win on the road, that they pretty much mentally conceded after losing game 5 at home. Instead of playing Xavier McDaniel, they went in and said, let him go, and brought in Charles Smith. And that cost you. You get X-Man would have dunked that damn ball and got rid of them bums. But no, you don't. And you lose, and the Bulls are on their way to a three-peat. So that's that. So now we go to 96, right? Let's go to the 96 Bulls. Yeah, there's that roster. Rodzilla. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Dickie Simpkins, Luke Longley, Jason Caffey, Randy Brown, Ron Harper, Steve Kerr, John Sally, James Edwards, and Tony Kukoc. Now, starting lineup now is Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, and who was the point guard? Oh, yeah, Ron Harper. So it was Ron, Mike, Scotty, Dennis, and Luke Longley. That was your starting lineup. That was your starting five. Now, your backup bench, you got James Edwards, who was old, barely played. So they put Jason Caffey, Dickie Simpkins, Steve Kerr, John Sally, and Tony Kukoc. You had no bench. You had no bench. Now, they had Winnington on this team, too. They had Bill Winnington, who used to come in there on this team. But you have no bench. The 89 Pistons versus this team, we got a younger John Sally, all right, that could swat shots. James Edwards, best low-point scoring machine there is in clearing people out of the paint. Steve Kerr wasn't even really like that. Steve Kerr never averaged double digits in his whole playing career. He's a guy that's, if he's open, he can hit a shot. Dennis Rodman is the key to this whole thing. And he barely was playing like with the Bulls. It was so easy. It was effortless for him. It was just like, this is easy for me. Without Dennis Rodman, this team wins probably 40, 50 games. They can't win without Dennis. Jordan knew that. That's why they lost in 95. They didn't have Horace Grant. They had Corey Blunt, and that is why they lost. They didn't have a power forward. They had no one to guard Horace Grant. With Dennis Rodman, that was not a problem. He did all the work defensively. So you're going to tell me the guy, the biggest difference maker, the guy who was more popular in the city of Chicago than Michael Jordan, he took the city over. I know, I live here. And as you saw on The Last Dance, all that stuff they said on The Last Dance, I had already made the videos prior to that. Y'all was just not privy to all this information until The Last Dance. So the 96 Bulls that won all those games, Dennis Rodman and the Bad Boy Pistons roster, we had a younger Rodman who was Defensive Player of the Year. Rodman was the difference maker, Dennis Rodman, and he was getting the rebounds, and he wasn't having no tattoos. He wasn't crazy. He was still a problem for people back then. Can guard all five positions, the worm. And we got Sally. Do you know why Michael Jordan actually picked Edwards, Sally, and Rodman? And in 97 and 98, he tried to get, in 1998, he tried to get Joe Dumars on the team. Wanted Joe Dumars to at least have a chance to win another championship. Because he's like, well, we both finna go out, Joe. Michael Jordan and Joe Dumars always had a respect for each other. So he tried to get him on the team so that he could win a championship, because Joe was there for all of the Bulls' 6 championships. Now, here's the thing. Joe declined, of course. But here's the thing. Why would Jordan go get the Pistons? He can get players from anywhere. Why did he choose Detroit? Why would he choose the Pistons? You, Michael Jordan, you the best team in the world, right? You can get any power forward from anywhere. Why would you pick up Rodman and Edwards? I mean, Sally and Edwards. Then you said you didn't need them, right? According to y'all, he didn't need them. Jordan did not need them. If Michael Jordan didn't need these players, why were they there? Because he did need them. See, here's what you didn't know, and what Sally was trying to tell you is that Jordan would always put the Pistons, all of them on the same team, Rodman, Sally, and Edwards, and he would think it's the Eastern Conference Finals, and he's going off in practice against them. But then when it's over, he's telling them what he wants from them. And what he wanted to know was the Pistons' secrets. They wanted to know, like when the guy's coming over on defense, and he was like, Rodman would slow me down. You see, Rodman and Sally used to come in together. When we did our substitutions, Rodman and Sally would come in together. They played in a cohesive unit that if Rodman is guarding Jordan, Sally would be the roamer. He would slide. So whenever Jordan would try an athletic move and Rodman's there, his job was to slow Michael up to stop him from driving. Once he stopped Michael, because Dennis had very fast feet, and as Phil Jackson and everybody will tell you, he was the best athlete on the Chicago Bulls. It wasn't Michael Jordan. He's the best athlete anybody's ever seen. Nobody know how Rodman had that kind of energy. This dude, after a game, would go work out and party all night, still come in and play 30, 40 minutes a night. Rodman was a machine. So now he worked out every night. It was something crazy. Unique, but crazy. Now you see all of these things happening, right? In detail. What Rodman would do was stop him from penetrating. When he would go for a shot, Sally would come over. Sally was long. He's 7 foot, got a wingspan of a condor, would come over, swat Michael Jordan's shot over and over again. Jordan couldn't see him because he would come in from the blind side. And when Michael's trying to shoot, they know Michael's not going to pass the ball. And if he's going to pass it, great. They want it out of his hands. Let anybody else shoot. Ed Neely, whoever the hell you got on the team. They're not worried. Bill Cartwright ain't going to beat them. Horace Grant ain't going to beat them. Scottie Pippen ain't going to beat them. Paxson ain't going to beat them. Give all of them the goddamn ball. He's not going to beat us. They were Jordan and the Jordanaires. And you weren't going to win like that. See, Rodman went to San Antonio. Rodman has one of the highest win percentages in NBA history. Kyrie. One of the highest win percentages in NBA history. He went to the San Antonio Spurs. David Robinson scored 72 points in a game, was MVP. Because Dennis did all the work defensively. And they were winning 50, 60 games a year. He shut Scottie Pippen down in 95, which made Jordan come back. Scottie Pippen got mad, started throwing chairs on the court, and the Bulls was about to trade Scottie Pippen. So Jordan ended up coming back, and he sent the letter, said, do not trade Scottie Pippen or B.J. Armstrong, and I'll come back. But I don't want you to trade him. They were going to trade him, and they were going to make a deal for Sean Kemp. That was later in the year. Seattle and Sean Kemp was having negotiational problems, and they weren't paying Kemp his money. Now, I got Michael Jordan 5th on the all-time list, and everybody thinks I hate Michael Jordan. I can't take away for what he was. Michael Jordan was an efficient scorer, but he learned how to become great later in his career when he can score from anywhere, the fadeaway. When he started hitting the fadeaways and the pull-ups, it was no spot on that court Jordan couldn't hit in 1996, 97, 98. You had figured this game out to a point where it was effortless. He had gotten the spring back. He wasn't going to be what he was before he left, but he gotten some of it back. Exactly. So I'm still true to my point. The Bulls did not have a team that from 96, let's go to 97 then, and we want to do rosters still. Let's go to the 97 Bulls roster and see what happens. Okay, 97 Chicago Bulls roster. Let's see what we end up with now. Basically the same team. Ron Harper with bad knees against the Pistons. No way. Ron was good as a ball handler because he had length and he could play defense, but not to that extent. Come on. When Penny Hardaway and those guys came into the league, they were embarrassing Ron Harper. And I know what happened to Michael Jordan in '96. You don't want those tapes, do you, Mike? Do you want me to start bringing up those tapes of what happened and what they decided to do with you and you was getting cooked? Oh, this was the year they brought in Robert Parrish, who had to tell Michael Jordan off, and Parrish got another championship on the team, and they definitely didn't like it. Sally and Edwards were gone. But like I said, Michael Jordan wanted to know, all he wanted them to put him in those sets again that they were running in Detroit so that he can capitalize, pass off of it, score off of it. Because if he can score on Detroit, and those are the guys that used to give him the fits, Sally and Rodman and them scheming. Even though they were old, they was teaching Luke Longley, okay, Luke, this is what you do. You can come over and help, slide over. You the roamer. This is the play. If this guy gets in this position, this is what you do. Edwards and them was trying to teach Bill Winnington and Longley, like, use your elbows, how to get in there and get position on the inside to help, so that Rodman would get rebounds. All of these guys, like, get in there, pin your guy, make sure you're doing your guy, boxing out. Rodman to get the rebound. Don't worry about it. You ain't got to go for it. All you got to do is make sure you're pinning your guy from not getting to the rebound. They had a defensive system. And this is why I keep telling people the documentaries give you a poor example of what the Detroit Pistons were. They were a very, very disciplined basketball team, and only people who didn't play this game would try to take away from what they were and not put them in the category that they're supposed to be in. They had no problem with the Los Angeles Lakers. They were better than the '87 Lakers and in '88. And every year they played, they would smoke the Lakers. There's no way the Lakers can stay with them, because that guard, Magic Johnson, was the weak link defensively. They would just go after Magic Johnson. In '88, we basically cooked them in '88, and they robbed us. So, it was politics of the game. They couldn't let Detroit win. We were too much of an underdog that year. And he said, the NBA didn't want them to win. They wouldn't have won. Well, as you saw, they stopped us in '88. In '89, there was nothing they could do about it. Detroit was just better than everybody. And and this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. We physically hurt people, so we just beat everybody. We won 63 games because we were beating teams up. That's the dumbest analogy I've ever heard in my life. Everybody gets hard fouls. You still got to put points up on the board. We have the most efficient scorers in the game. We have Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, Vinny the Microwave Johnson. We got Edwards in the low post. We got the first stretch five in NBA history, unless you count like Tom Chambers. Tom Chambers was a stretch five, but he wasn't Lambeer. He wasn't going to grab you 12 rebounds and get you some threes and pull your bigs out of the hole. He was a defensive nightmare for most of those guys. And he was smart. He could pass the ball. It was like having another brain out there, another computer working with Isaiah Thomas. This was a unit that believed in military tactics of mental warfare. Everybody would come out together in a line and walk on the road and go by the bench and everything. And they're getting booed, and they just would come in with still faces. Nobody's laughing. It's all serious. And that would intimidate the people. When they get knocked down or whatever, and they don't try to help them up, no, don't help them up. It's mental. It's keeping them in a mental cycle, right? Trying to get the best player agitated. All little things. pinching him on the arm, any little thing to get him going. Rodman would squeeze the guy's butt. And he'd be, hey, man, what's going on? But here's the thing. They hated Dennis Rodman. They hated the Pistons. But when Dennis Rodman came to the Bulls, they loved him. All the stuff he was doing, he did to Alonzo Mourning, took Mourning right out of the game. Mourning was trying to choke him and choke the life out of Dennis Rodman. It was the best mental manipulation I've ever seen in my life. That's what you get when you mess with the Detroit Pistons. We were cerebral. And we were the best basketball team there is. We knew how to close out games. We knew how to win. This is why I don't understand how this is even an argument. When to find a team better than the Detroit Pistons, you can't go forward. You're going to have to go backwards. Because any team from 89 on, they ain't none of those teams going to compare to the Detroit Pistons or any team in the 80s. The Chicago Bulls team, that 96 team, like none of those teams, when the 87 Lakers would beat the Bulls. The 86 Celtics would beat the Bulls. Dr. J and Moses Malone, that Sixers team, they beat the Bulls. Any year you pick, even 96, they beat them. The 96 Bulls team is not the best team. That's what I'll keep telling you. You guys have been deceived, man. They have lied to you. They have straight up lied to you. That's the problem. They have been lying to you, and y'all have drunk the Kool-Aid. So there is no Chicago Bulls championship team better than the 89 Pistons, period. That's not even, I can't even say that clearer. Yeah, the 86 team would beat the Bulls. 86 Boston team would definitely beat the Bulls. Why? Because they had a bench. They had depth. They moved the ball around. They knew how to exploit the Bulls' weaknesses. Now, Bird wasn't injured then. Bird could still, he was a nightmare for Michael. You heard Michael say when he retired. I'm glad you retired, Larry. Larry Bird is 6'9". If he goes in the post and post up Michael Jordan, which he did, he could shoot over Michael Jordan every time and would score on him. It was easy. See, but you guys never saw any of this, so you don't understand it. Saying, oh, he wouldn't have did that to him in 96. 96 Jordan was just stronger, but Bird is still 6'9". Bird shoots over his head like that. You're not blocking the shot. Bird could score with either hand, left or right. It's not like players of today. The Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant against the Detroit Pistons of 89, we'll beat them by 30. We would beat that team by 30 points. Isaiah would guard Steph. Clay is going to get shut down by Joe Dumars. Rodman's on Kevin Durant. And Lambeer's going to be dealing with, and Rick Mahorn dealing with Draymond. Draymond will be ejected in the first 2 minutes of the game. Man, did you see that, man? He bumped me, man. Man, you better watch them Bulls. Rick will be, what? He'll be, I'm sorry, Mr. Mahorn. Can you please? he ain't gonna raise his voice and no damn. Look, it's like a little dog barking about to a whole pack of wolves. Yeah, they ain't got the mental. Rodman would drive Kevin Durant insane. He would be so frustrated, he might get ejected right along with Draymond. Y'all are done. Who's going to guard the microwave Vinnie Johnson? That's what I want to know. When Wave go off and start getting his own offensive rebounds and putbacks, who's going to body him coming off the bench for Golden State on that Kevin Durant team? No, y'all ain't physical enough for Wade. One, and then Wade hit your ass with that cross. Pop, pop, pop. Vinny, you can't time it to block his shot. because he shoots so unorthodox and it's so quick, you don't know what to do with microwave. So yeah, that guy was pretty much out of his mind, out of his element. He thought he was talking to a YouTuber. No, guy, I'm just a guy on YouTube, bro. I know you ran into the wrong one. The wrong one. Especially for a topic like this. Of course, we would have swept them. They wouldn't have won one game. The 96 Bulls would sweep the Warriors. I've always said that. There's none of these new teams. They would have lost to the Milwaukee Bucks of 96. You know, that's what I'm saying. Those older teams would destroy these newer teams. I don't know why these young kids think that they could destroy and walk through those teams. Then they played an old game. They couldn't play at our game. I'm like, you couldn't play with their rules from back then. Okay. Imagine them playing with your rules, which is no rules. They could travel. They could take 2 and 3 steps. It's a gather step. A gather step? Meaning I could take 2 steps, jump back, and then shoot the ball. I'm like, what the hell is that? And whatever the hell it is LeBron's doing, this dude did a Euro step and a drop step at the same time. 1, 2, jump, and then I'm up. I said, oh, good Lord. This dude did a Euro drop step. No, the Chicago Bulls had to win. Let me try to educate some of the people in here, but the Chicago Bulls was put up and propped up to win. But this guy here was just, you know, he was in love with talking. He wasn't even trying to make a point. But let's listen to what he was saying. Guys, I've just explained it all over again.
Trying to be wannabes out there, man, doing all kinds of weird stuff. But then y'all want to get a platform and start talking basketball? You sound insane, Karceno. Insane. And the reason why I'm coming at him this way is I'm going to read it off in a second why I'm coming at him. Because he was calling everybody out. He's calling anybody and everybody. Well, I'm your Huckleberry, my man. Like I said in his comment section, man. You want to call anybody and everybody out on this weak stuff that you're talking about? Yeah, well, I'm here, man. So once again, I'm going to set the record straight on you, clown. So nonsense. I'm tired of these.
Okay, well, bring your team. Bring your team.
Clowns out here talking basketball when they don't know what the hell they're talking about. You never watched basketball in the 80s and 90s. These out here talking about the Pistons. Come on, man. You sound insane. So let's read off some of the stuff that he said here. The Pistons, man. My goodness gracious, man. He says this, guys. This is how he starts off the video. I didn't watch the whole thing. I didn't watch the whole 33 minutes. I ain't watching 33 minutes of this nonsense. This dude's walking all over the place. He's walking on camera for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You can't even see him. He's talking in the background off camera. I mean, the dude's a weirdo, man. I don't know what he's saying. Like I said, you're wearing a bear sweater, trashing on the Chicago Bulls, but you're a Detroit Pistons fan, but then you saw your Chi-Town's finest. Weird dude, man. Weird dude. That would be like me talking about the...
That's your 18th time saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Man, you got a Chicago Bears shirt on, man. You a Piston fan, man. You Chicago finest, man. You a weird dude, man. You a weird dude. I was like, dude, you said this about at least 13 times. Can you please land your plane?
The Cowboys, right, while wearing a Dallas Mavericks sweater or something like that, or trashing the Giants, every comment was like, dude, what are you talking about? You sound crazy. People were saying, I guess you need some content, right? You need some clicks and views. People were saying, listen, man, I like your channel, but this is way off, man. No one was agreeing with this clown. The dude did a 33-minute live stream, not a video, a live on this. Wow, man. He said, this is how he starts it off, guys. He challenges anybody to try to find any Chicago Bulls team that was better than this team. And what he's saying is he's holding up, it looks like a patch, a Detroit Pistons patch, right? An 80 from the old symbol, the Detroit. He's holding that up in the live stream, and he's saying, I've challenged anybody to find any Chicago Bulls team that's better than this team. That was better than this team. He's holding that stupid patch up. Dude, you're a weirdo, man. Why are you not wearing a Detroit Pistons jersey? You should have a Detroit Pistons jersey on. You should have an Isaiah Thomas authentic jersey on, Karceno. You out here holding up a patch, a funky patch. Dude, put the patch on a jacket and wear the damn jacket, you clown. Like I said, the man's wearing Chicago.
Well, where's your Bulls jersey at? Where's your jersey? What the hell are you wearing? You're not even wearing a sports jersey. So it's all about look with you, right? It's all about the appearance. The Pistons are all around me. So wherever I'm standing, I'm Piston strong right now. So what is you talking about? I don't have to wear it. It's wearing around me. I'm surrounded by it. We are Piston strong. Piston strong, buddy. Same thing you saw in the video. I need to wear something now? You said I was holding this. Pistons were very much represented in the video, sir. But please expand.
Bulls sweatshirt. I mean, a Chicago Bears sweatshirt while he's trashing the Chicago Bulls. You are weird, dude. These guys don't make.
Here we go again. The 20th time you saying the same exact thing over and over again.
Challenge anybody.
Yeah.
Well, from the looks of your comment section, everyone came for that challenge, man, and roasted you. They cooked you up in this, man.
No, they did not. They sound like you.
Because you're just talking to talk. Nothing to support this opinion. He continues and says this. It doesn't exist. It don't exist. He said, it don't exist. It don't exist. He says this. Media propaganda. The Bulls were media propaganda. This is what he also said. The Bulls, Michael Jordan, he said, were media propaganda. So once again, we talked about this on the live the other day. I told you, Michael Jordan was not built up through the media lies or narratives. He wasn't built up through media hype, like this guy saying through propaganda through the media.
Oh, this poor guy. This poor guy, man. Listen, Michael Jordan was a media hype. I lived in Chicago. Lacey J. Banks, as I told you, was his little stool pigeon. That's who he talked to from the Chicago Sun-Times. He's no longer here with us. He's dead. He was a black writer from the Chicago Sun-Times named Lacey J. Banks. And what Lacey J. Banks used to do is take Michael Jordan would talk exclusively with Lacey and give him a power puff piece, and he would say whatever they wanted him to say. And everybody know David Falk, his agent, who was crazy, had tried to challenge the NBA and all the other. He was the super agent. They called him the invisible hand. He wanted to control the union and use Michael Jordan's power and leverage to do it. You didn't know all of the politics that was going on beyond the scenes. Michael Jordan brought Gatorade in. The NBA wasn't a superpower entity back then. They had Coca-Cola. They had Mr. Subway supporting the teams as sponsors. Okay, Gatorade, McDonald's, all of these things came with Michael Jordan. Nike now was the shoe and the ambassador of the whole sport of the NBA. All of this came because of Michael. He was a product, a commodity. He was a cash cow. Now, I'm not taking away from his abilities. Like Mike performed when he was on the court. No one ever said Michael Jordan couldn't play basketball. Okay? The man could play. But you got to understand that this game is more than what's happening on the court. As I told you, this is an example of a poker player and somebody who plays poker. The example is clear. A person that plays poker, they only see the cards on the table and the cards they got in their hands. A poker player see everything. They see the tails and your signs of your eyes. When you scratch your cheek, they see everybody's tails. They see everything. The last thing they need to see is the cards. They know what they's in their hands. They know who's holding what just by what they move in the like. So it's a whole different world. You only understand a little bit of it on surface level. And that's what the majority of you, that's what they call casuals. You might watch the game a lot and just don't understand it. You believe that's why they spend millions of dollars to do these puff pieces to show it to you so you could come and regurgitate it out your mouth. And because a lot of people isn't saying it, you don't believe it. And that's how a lie go 1,000 yards. When the lie becomes legend, they print the legend, even though they know it isn't true. So if a lot of people are saying a lie, you're going to believe the lie. And that's basically what you're saying here. I've never heard anybody say it. That's because just because you've never heard anybody say it doesn't mean it isn't correct. A true man doesn't need anybody else to justify his statement. I've never been a person that needed somebody to justify my statement. I'm the one that will stand before millions and tell them exactly how I feel. And it's not based on I'm doing it because I'm trying to be on their side or this side, and this is what it looks like because everybody else is saying it, so it must be true. No. This is why you have to be thinking from here. You have to go off what you see, what you know, your knowledge. And that's the way I approach the game. But like I said, I challenge him. Come on up. Come on down. The link been dropped. Everything. He can come on down.
He wasn't built that way, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's legacy, his reputation, right, the endorsements, everything that they promoted was through his own court game, through what he did on the court. This guy, Karceno, you don't know this? Like I said, how old are you? Because you look out.
Now, once again, when I say it's media propaganda, is because they use the same lies that he took and he spread it propaganda against the Detroit Pistons to try to get the attention his way, saying the Pistons were out to hurt him and they trying to end, Rick Mahorn tried to end my career. They put that in the media because his agent, David Falk, told him to do this. David Falk was upset with Isaiah Thomas because Isaiah Thomas was president of the Players Union. And he did a deal and cut all of the percentages from the agents, said the players are paying too much to the agents. And all the players loved it because the NBA passed it and said, yeah, it's true. And David Falk was pissed. Just that, I think it was like 5% that he cut off of the agents, and they got 5% less of the money from the clients. So he wanted Isaiah Thomas out. He started the beef with Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas. David Falk. See, these are things you don't know about. These are the things that I know about because I was there and I experienced it. And Isaiah put that in play. And then over the years, they had it reversed to where the agents got more money again. You see, I know all about it. Why do you think Isaiah was president of the Players Union for all these years if everybody hated Isaiah Thomas? Why did they keep electing him president of the Players Union, including Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan said, hey, you're doing a good job. I know he wants to get in the algorithms. That's fine. Let him get in the algorithm. I don't mind talking basketball with people, man. If they are, but you know, he's got to understand something, dude. You spent 20 minutes saying the same line over and over again. How many times you gonna talk about me wearing a Bears hoodie because I'm a Bears fan? I don't understand what the problem is there. And you talk about the Chicago Bulls and you're a Piston fan. You're a weirdo, man. He said that about 30 times. But I'm like, dude, you've said that about enough. Can you please get to your point?
Old as hell. You look old as hell. You should have been around for this stuff. You say you're from Chi-Town, then you should definitely know about Michael Jordan. You're telling me Michael Jordan was a media propaganda creator? Air Jordan through propaganda?
I don't think I worded it like that, sir. But go ahead.
Pistons. All he cares about Detroit Pistons. Detroit Pistons this. Detroit Pistons that. He continues.
Yes, Detroit Pistons this is okay. What's your point?
Says this. He says, go find me anybody. I'm here, Karceno. I'm here.
Yes, I said that 20 minutes ago before you started. You let the public know 20 minutes ago. That's what I said. Find me a team. Can you please find a team?
Sports and Fitness Rants is here. And I'm calling you out because you're a straight fool for saying this stuff, man. And I don't care what his rest of his content looks like because this is what I'm talking about. It's all it takes is one video. That's all it takes for me to see one video of you talking the Detroit Pistons. And the Detroit Pistons, once again, were a dirty team. Karceno's not going to the NBA up. It contributed to the golden era, to the greatness of the NBA. The Detroit Pistons, once again, were a dirty team. Karceno's not going to talk about that, right? He's talking about them playing real basketball. They were out there really earning it. He tried to make it seem like Michael Jordan didn't earn it. Michael Jordan didn't earn it. This is where we're going with this, Karceno. This is the stretch he was making this video in this live stream.
Now he created a narrative saying that I said Michael Jordan didn't earn a championship. Never said that in that video. He just created that out of his own mouth. He just created it, and now he's arguing the point that he created it and trying to attach it to me, that I said Michael Jordan didn't earn a championship. I didn't never say Michael Jordan didn't earn a championship, but go ahead.
Bulls didn't earn it. Michael Jordan didn't earn anything. What didn't he earn? The man was taking physical beatings from those fools, the Detroit Pistons.
He was taking a physical beating. This is what I'm talking about. You see, Michael Jordan was taking a physical beating. He earned those championships. He took a physical beating by the Detroit Pistons. Everybody got beat by the Detroit Pistons, meaning that they lost the game. But you think Oakley and Anthony Mason and those guys wasn't hitting Michael Jordan? Well, Charles Oakley wasn't hitting him that much, but Anthony Mason wasn't laying the wood on him. You think Xavier McDaniel wasn't laying the wood on him? You think all of these other players was just nice to Michael Jordan? They were just being physical. They weren't dirty.
We are hyping up. That's how I know you didn't play basketball, Karceno, because if you think that's basketball, what they were doing, once again, you never played the sport, my man, because that's not basketball what they were doing.
Oh, my God.
When they try to come up with this idea, this narrative that Michael Jordan cried, because he mentioned that, I believe, in this video, because I didn't watch the whole, I'm not wasting 33 minutes of my life watching this guy's video. That's what it is. You're wasting time of your life listening to people like this guy, listening to these weirdos out here, just wasting your life. That's why I try to give you quality content and give you the facts, man, and give you guys.
Please do, because you just wasted about 15 minutes of our life saying the same thing over and over and over again about my outfit and my shirt.
Information in here. I try to teach you things about life, right? How you should carry yourself, conduct yourself. Or my channel might be sports and fitness rants, and yes, the way trying to the NBA. When? Where? Where's the evidence of this? You guys make these statements because what, Isaiah Thomas said it?
Isaiah Thomas didn't have to say it. It's already documented. Like I said, it's in every newspaper. You could look it up. Michael Jordan went to the press and actually said these things, saying that the Pistons are trying to end his career and all of this because Rick Mahorn fouled him one time and he got his ass whooped. Rick Mahorn beat up the whole team. Hey, look. It ain't our fault that they're a bunch of punks. We saw Detroit beat the hell out of that man. No, they showed you clips. Did they show you Bill Cartwright cutting Isaiah Thomas' eye with an elbow? Did they show you Charles Oakley coming in, trying to be the enforcer, fouling people? Y'all were dirty. Y'all brought in Ed Neely. Y'all brought in Joe Klein. And it's weird to me that if the Pistons were so bad and they were so dirty, why'd y'all go get them and bring them on the Bulls? Rodman was so dirty, he cut Scottie Pippen chin, but you went and got Dennis Rodman. And you loved him. That just shows you the hypocrisy of Bulls fans. And y'all so caught up into this be like Mike shit.
Thomas said something. You guys taking a role like it's gospel. Isaiah Thomas is a dirtbag, guys. Karceno, my man, your boy.
Isaiah Thomas is a dirtbag. What makes him a dirtbag?
Shot-town. Isaiah Thomas is a dirtbag. This dude is not a cool, legit, grown man. He ain't a trooper.
See, this is why I don't like to speak to people like this. This is a clown. That's a clown statement. He has nothing to back that up. He's just saying, he's just a complete clown. He sounds like a confused Knicks fan who got Michael Jordan and Dr. J posters in the back. He's just an idol worshiper.
Dude's a dirtbag. He's a sore loser. He walked off the court. He's still crying about not.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Watching documentaries. He walked off the court. Everybody walks off the court. You see LeBron walk off the court. You see everybody walk off the court. They didn't say nothing about anybody walking off the court. People do it all the damn time. It's just that it happened to the diva Michael Jordan. The media propaganda spread because it happened to Michael Jordan. And they use people like you who watch these damn documentaries, who didn't watch basketball, didn't watch the game, probably was too young and you was too busy running your mouth, probably was drunk watching the game and don't know what you're talking about. You talked all through the damn thing. If you try listening, then you will get your answers. That's what you need to do. You doing too much. Look at his mouth wide open. You too much ranting. Instead of ranting, try making sense. Try listening and actually having a point. And then tell details and arrive to the solution of the point. You're all over the place. You're just ranting. That's the perfect name for you, ranting. So anybody thinking you're cooking, those people, they don't have a IQ past 3. To cook me, you got to have facts. You got to have something tangible to make me go, okay, now this is challenging. All of this video, you're about 20 minutes in, and you still haven't given me one team of the Chicago Bulls that can beat the 89 Pistons. Isaiah Thomas he's a great human being. Everybody in the world sits there and interviews Isaiah Thomas, all the players in the league. You hear them tell the stories about how he saved their life, how he did all of these things, get called and got their jobs back. Michael Jordan ain't did shit for nobody but Michael Jordan. He was the biggest, most selfish human being, never did anything in the community here in Chicago. For the inner city, nothing. And said, well, I don't do that. That's my mom's job. That's why I got the Jordan Foundation so she could do that. Michael Jordan ain't started doing nothing for black folks till about 2 years ago when he opened up some hospital for black women and the youth. Jordan he was the most selfish. Yeah, he built the clinic in North Carolina, 2 years ago? He been out the league 20 years. Jordan ain't never did a damn thing for nobody. Now, everybody know that. Yeah, that's my mama's thing. You know, she knows the Jordan Foundation was for. The Jordan Foundation, they had all them people there. He didn't do nothing. The other 4 players above Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, Isaiah, of course, Oscar Robertson, and Larry Bird.
I'm making the 92 Dream Team. This is Chi-Town? Is this what Chi-Town's about? I've been to South Side Chicago. When I was in the military, man, I went to visit my friend, who I went with him to his home when he went home on leave. He's from South Side Chicago, man. I went with him. I'm telling you guys right now, man, this is a scary place, man. The building that we went to, some of the people that I was around there, man, this is a scary place, man. And I'm from New York City, man. So once again, these large cities is not.
I knew you were from New York because you talk like a delusional Knicks fan who has on no Knicks gear, no Knicks pictures in the back. You got Dr. J and MJ. Y'all worship MJ more than y'all worship anybody from the Knicks. That's how confusing and off-putting y'all are. Y'all rave about MJ. MJ from New York. He from Brooklyn, son. You claiming the dude that kept putting y'all out the playoffs every year. Y'all, oh, like this is the Knicks right here. This is complete New York Knicks fan right here. This behavior. Complete delusional. Still haven't answered the question. We're 20 minutes
Forgotten
in.
on me, these areas where some of these people are from. We get all of that, man. These guys are tough, man. They're from the streets, man.
What does that have to do? Being from Chicago, this guy you met on the south side of Chicago, he took you to a building that was tough. What does this have to do with you finding a team from Chicago, one of the Bulls teams that was better than the 89 Pistons? You are all over the damn place. Will you please land your plane?
Right? That's not what this is about. When I'm talking about this is Chicago, Isaiah Thomas, is he representing Chicago? You guys want to be represented that way? We're not talking about his basketball playing skills. We all know Isaiah Thomas is an all-time great, and the man was legit on the court with his basketball game. We've never denied it, not on this channel. What have I talked to you guys about? Isaiah Thomas' leadership style, Isaiah Thomas' integrity, his class. Where's the honor in Isaiah Thomas? Where's the honor? Where's the honor? Not even.
Where's the honor in Isaiah Thomas, a man who had Nelson Mandela come to Detroit? His first trip to the United States, he comes to Detroit and he's there standing next to Isaiah Thomas. Where's his integrity and honor? That's how I tell you, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're basing it off of a damn walking off the court in the 1991 playoff game because you've seen it in a documentary. And they trying to make it look like it's an end-all, be-all of everything. It's not. Everybody do it every damn game now. Do you see players walk off the court in the NBA Finals? You seen them walk off the court in the regular season game? Not everybody kumbaya. They go right off the court. The Celtics and the damn Lakers, they walked off the court. They did not touch hands with them. Miami and Boston, they walked off the court. What's this dude talking about? Bad sportsmanship. When was it bad sportsmanship when Boston they walked off the court with Detroit? What do you mean bad sportsmanship? It ain't no bad sportsmanship. They only do that because it's Michael Jordan and the Bulls. Who were they? They didn't have any championships. They weren't nobody. The champions do what they want to do. Boston walked off the court. Larry Bird walked right off and didn't shake nobody's hand, didn't say congratulations to nobody. Walked right off the court while it was still time going. McHale is the only one that came back and spoke to Isaiah because they were old roommates when they were on the Olympic team. Before they even came into the league. When they were going to college, they was roommates. So he came and spoke to Isaiah, and they made it look like the Celtics congratulated them. No, they all left on the court. Nobody said nothing. Nobody said one word. So you want to talk about this man integrity, this man who's done everything for the community. Isaiah Thomas is the reason that black media exists in the NBA. He the one told the NBA, we need black beat writers in the NBA. We don't have any. And we need them, especially in Detroit. So Detroit was the first team in NBA history to have black beat writers. You got all the white sports writers making all the news. Isaiah Thomas is the one that was speaking up for the players. Why do you think he was the integrity? He's the president of the Players Union until he retired. Why would they elect him if he didn't have the integrity? The NBA, David Stern was close to Isaiah. How you think he was on charge of the Knicks? How he become president of the Knicks if he didn't have integrity? See, this is the kind of ignorance that is poison to our community because you don't know anything. You're just regurgitating stuff off documentaries. That's the kind of poison we talking about. Talk about something you know. Go research Isaiah Thomas, then come back and say Isaiah Thomas ain't did nothing or he don't have integrity. Look up Isaiah Thomas. Go think. That's why I know you don't know nothing about basketball. Anybody in the NBA would look at you like you a fool. all these players that played in the league, when you say Isaiah Thomas didn't have any integrity, they're going to go, what? Zeke? No integrity. This man got Steven Jackson's job back after he was shooting outside of a nightclub. He was out the league. Integrity? I'm like, are they kidding? This is Isaiah. He the one got Jermaine O'Neal back in the league. All Isaiah do is help people, and he don't even have to. Why do you think when these players are going into the Hall of Fame, who the most person that they've ever had inducted people into the Hall of Fame is Isaiah Thomas? Why is that if he's a man of no integrity? John Stockton got Isaiah Thomas to get him into the Hall of Fame. Not Karl Malone. Isaiah Thomas inducted him into the Hall of Fame. Joe Dumars got Isaiah Thomas. Kevin Garnett, Isaiah Thomas. Everybody got Isaiah Thomas up there. Every year you see Isaiah Thomas up there, right? But you just said that man is a man of no integrity. Did you see that happen in the NBA? Does everybody do that in the NBA, Lorraine? I don't think so. And Michael Jordan's actions is the reason that he didn't get a handshake. He went down there talking all this crap about them spreading media propaganda that they wanted him to spread against the Detroit Pistons. This is the end of dirty basketball. This is the end of dirty basketball. They wanted them to pass and spread that narrative before they go on and do their whole shtick of doing this sitcom crap with the Pistons because they shouldn't even have been there. Our team was injured and shouldn't even have been that far. But did you know that we played the 91 Bulls when we were going for our three-peat earlier in the season? And what happened? Didn't we beat them by like 20 points? Hmm? $105 to $84. We played y'all when we were healthy, and it was 105 to 84. Mm-hmm. You see that, right? 105 to 84. This is what the new rules, everything, flagrant foul, everything. You got smoked. 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 Isaiah had 10 assists. Jordan had 33. Lambeer had 14 rebounds. Paxson hit 2 threes. $27 assists. Both had 13 turnovers. Assists is what killed you. Look at that. Smoked. Y'all were smoked. Y'all wasn't even competition. So when we were healthy and we played you, even with the flagrant foul and all the new rules, right? You got beat by 21 goddamn points. So don't tell me. No, ain't no dirty. This is what y'all got the flagrant foul rule now. This is with the new rules. You got your ass whooped by Detroit Pistons. It wasn't even close. So this is with the new rules. Yeah, they don't remember because they watch the damn highlights. Y'all watch these damn bullshit documentaries. That's what's happening. See, now that's reality staring you right in the face with all the rules they put up, right? All this flagrant foul crap that they brought into there to stop the Pistons. You got your ass whooped by 21 points because we was healthy. You won because we weren't healthy anymore. That was the only reason y'all won that year. You would never beat us healthy. You didn't know how. Hell, you want to know how many times y'all made Isaiah Thomas bleed? Cartwright throwing elbows, cutting him on the eye. He got about 20 stitches in his eye. And they had to break his hand fighting Bill Cartwright. Cartwright down there throwing bowls because he's dirty. A sweep. Yeah, you swept a team that's injured. Congratulations. But we beat y'all. Okay, so y'all won one. We beat y'all 3 years in a row. We put y'all out 3 years in a row. So what that mean? Y'all 1 out of 4. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to head to the Patreon. This guy is never going to land his plane. I think he's still just spiraling around. I don't think he's ever going to land.
Where's the honor now? Isaiah Thomas is 60-something years old, and he's still acting like a 10-year-old. Still crying about the 92 Dream Team. He says crazy things. But that's what Dennis Rodman said. That was in, like, what, 89 or something like that, 88 or something? He said that back in the late 80s about Larry Bird only winning MVPs because he was white. I wonder how you feel about that, Karceno. Was Larry Bird only winning MVPs because he was white? Larry Bird was that great.
You wonder why I think about that. I got Larry Bird third all-time greatest player of all time. That's what I think about that comment.
To you, I'm assuming, right? The NBA was carrying Larry Bird and giving him MVPs and giving him championships because that's the way he made it seem about Michael Jordan. The NBA just giving Michael Jordan championships, and that's why they beat the Pistons, because the NBA wanted them to win. I hate when these...
Yes, the NBA wanted the Chicago Bulls to win in 1991, 92, 93. Yes, very much so.
Detroit Piston fans act like the NBA didn't want the Pistons to win. They didn't want... Then how did they win twice? They didn't want them to win, but they won twice? That doesn't make any sense, man.
Yes, it does make sense. Makes a lot of sense, sir. You think they want the Detroit Pistons to win? That's why they gave them more than one championship. You think they wanted the Detroit Pistons to repeat as NBA champions? No, they were just good. They were damn good. That's why this is a Hall of Fame backcourt, sir. Hall of Fame. You can't name another one. You can't. The next one would be Steph and Clay. But Hall of Fame backcourt. You can't name one. 2 of the greatest of all time. Myself, Isaiah. The greatest player to ever play in the NBA. He did everything these other guys did, and he was 6 feet tall. The first little man to ever lead a team to a championship in the NBA. Isaiah Lord Thomas III. Let it be known. keep telling them, these people, they believe all these headlines, man. They watch The Last Dance and they got themselves charged. They got charged, boy. Knowing y'all don't know nothing about the team, nothing about the Bulls, nothing about how dirty the organization is. All the stuff I told you, they was telling you on The Last Dance, and man, did you know about that? I mean, my video was already done. Told you Scottie Pippen was nothing but a glorified role player. Glorified role player. I know what Scottie Pippen is. That Zeke scandal crap, that was just trying to get Zeke up out of power. Woman lied. There wasn't no damn scandal. Zeke didn't want that damn thing. She was mad. She was fired. That had all to do with Larry Brown and how he came and ruined the New York Knicks.
That's the dumbest stuff I've ever heard in my life. They didn't want the Pistons to win. He actually said at one point, he said this. They interrupted the glamour party. This is what he said. The Detroit Pistons interrupted the glamour party, and they got in the way. What the hell are you talking about? You don't know the game, Karceno. They got in the way of who? He's like, oh, they wanted to pass it from Magic and Bird to Jordan. They wanted him to go, and he didn't. And then the Pistons got in the way of that. Got in the way of that? No, the Bulls got in the way, you fool. Remember, it was.
This is when he's finna go off the rails. This is when he really finna go into the land of stupidia. The land of stupidia. When people just talk loud, saying nothing. This man is finna tell you that the Cleveland Cavaliers and the New York Knicks is who they was gonna pass the torch to. Listen to him.
The Cleveland Cavaliers, who was supposed to be the next team up. They were supposed to be the Pistons, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Those were supposed to be the next teams up on deck. There were even people saying the New York Knicks because
nobody was saying the New York Knicks, except for people in New York, like you. I said passing the torch, not who was going to win the championship that year. And nobody had Cleveland winning the championship that year. They had Cleveland being one of the top teams that's going to battle the Pistons. But no, it was the Pistons to lose that year. There was no way, especially in 89. That's why I laughed. I wanted Michael Jordan to hit the shot against Cleveland. I wanted him to get rid of the Cleveland, get rid of New York, get rid of all these teams that we couldn't beat the Bulls. So there was no problem with us. It was like, oh, we could beat that team. Y'all were inferior. Inferior. Meaning the Chicago Bulls. That team was inferior. Until we were injured? Mark Price is the only person I know. No, Cleveland had a team. They had Ron Harper. They had Craig Elo, Mark Price. They had beat the Bulls 5 times that year. The Bulls were nothing at that time. The Bulls were nothing. They were the same team that everybody else knew. They were a nothing team. So it's all Michael Jordan and the Jordan-heirs. That's it. Everybody standing around watching Michael Jordan. That's it. They're nothing to fear. Yep. John Hot Rod Williams. They had some players on the team. So us battling Cleveland for the Eastern Conference Finals, that would have been a war. Right. Injuries are a part of the game. So, yeah, they won because we were injured. Not a problem. Did anybody ever say they didn't win Did I ever say they didn't win? I was like, no, the league wanted them to win. And they proved it. They called like 4 or 5 fouls in a row to just say, yeah, we're finna cement the game. So I was like, oh, okay, it's done. Tim Duncan is probably number 10 on my list of greatest players of all time. I remember I did the top 100. I've written them down somewhere in here. But see, this guy is what you would call a fanboy.
You had Patrick Ewing. You had Mark Jackson, who just came up for Rookie of the Year in 1988. So people thought the Knicks, the Cavaliers.
No, they didn't think the Knicks. Mark Jackson was Rookie of the Year in 88. Mark was good in 88, and y'all thought y'all was on y'all way. Y'all had no 2 guard. You had no power forwards. You had no against Detroit. You're nothing to us. We smoked you in 89. We smoked y'all in 90. Y'all were nothing. No competition for us. When y'all played us in the playoffs, we could have went 4-0. Y'all got 1 game in New York, and you thought you were back. It's too easy, dog. Y'all was too easy to play.
Right? These were going to be the teams. The Pistons were the next teams up. No one was saying the Bulls. I don't know what the hell Karceno was talking about, dude.
Now, he made a whole story about nobody was saying the Bulls. When did I say the Bulls? I said they were supposed to pass the torch from Magic and Bird over to Jordan, and the Pistons got in the way of that by denying the Bulls because they are the ones who beat the Chicago Bulls. So if they're the ones who eliminated the Chicago Bulls, who would get in the way of Michael Jordan? Who was stopping Michael Jordan? It was the Detroit Pistons. So, yes, they're getting in the way of the Chicago Bulls, of them giving them and praising them and giving Jordan the torch to run with it. Because if Jordan wins 1, guess what? It's over. If he beats us in 89 and win the championship, it's over. He got the whole league now. Yeah, we whooped them in 88, 89, 90. We was smoking them in 87. Like, we have no problems with whooping on the Bulls. That's what I'm like, dude, this was nothing for us. The Bulls were not our competition. Let me repeat. The Chicago Bulls weren't our competition. Our rivalry was against the Boston Celtics, not the Bulls. The Bulls became a rivalry to y'all. It was a rivalry. Only when y'all won. You got to win to be a rivalry. With Boston, that was the team we got to get over the hump with them. We ain't got to get over the hump of the Bulls. They were the losers. They were trying to get over us. We wasn't worried about them. They trying to beat us. And then Scottie Pippen asked, well, I hope we don't play Detroit. Michael Jordan like, no, I hope we do play Detroit. I want to beat Detroit. We're not going to win the championship unless we go through Detroit. He want to go through Detroit. Scotty scared as hell. Of course he's scared. I just think that it'd be best for us. They beat Detroit. Jordan was, no, I want Detroit. Of course you want Detroit. They banged up, injured. Who wouldn't want them? I told him whenever he ready, come on down.
You don't know what you're talking about. That's why in 89, when Rodman, Dumars, Lane Beer, Jordan was going all by himself, single-handedly carrying that team, when his next best teammate was Craig Hodges. Craig Hodges, not Scottie Pippen, not Horace Grant, Craig Hodges. No knock on Craig Hodges at all. But damn it, man. Isaiah Thomas was playing with Rodman, Dumars, Lane Beer, Edwards, Aguirre. All these guys on that team, Vinny the Microwave Johnson. Michael Jordan supposed to beat that team by himself.
Oh, yeah. Now he's praising the Pistons. Michael Jordan's supposed to beat that team by himself. now you know the Pistons are devastating. So why would you sit there and act like what I'm saying is so out of bounds if I'm telling you about that? You just ran down the whole goddamn roster.
I don't know what we're talking about. The Pistons, they didn't want the Pistons to win. If they didn't want the Pistons to win in 89, they wouldn't have won in 89. Remember, the Bulls were up 2-1. And what the Pistons do, they went back to that brand of basketball. If the NBA really...
They went back to that brand of basketball. No, dummy. They played a system on Michael Jordan that was exclusively for him. It was the Jordan rules. It was keeping Jordan out of the paint, forcing him left, forcing him to have to shoot from the left or have to pass. Jordan wasn't a great jump shooter then, if you get him out of his spots. So if you force him to drive left, he would have to make shots from there and have to create from the sides he's not comfortable from. So you would have the next person slide over defensively, come off their man, and cover Michael Jordan. And if he comes down that lane, you make sure you foul him. And you make him go to the free throw line. So Jordan is an 80% free throw shooter. You send him to the line. He's going to hit too. But you're wearing him down on the offense. They made Michael Jordan on defense. They ran him through picks. They kept him on screens, kept running him through picks, screens. You don't understand basketball. Had you seen the games, you would understand that's what they were doing. Anything to slow him down. He was not going to beat them. They're not worried about Scottie Pippen. They're not worried about Horace Grant. They're not worried about John Paxson. Dude, this is what we're talking about.
They wanted the Bulls to win. They would have won in 89. They were up 2-1. There was no reason for the Pistons to go back to the NBA Finals. There was no reason for this. But the Bulls, the way Karceno's talking, the NBA wanted the Bulls to win. How come they didn't win 89, Karceno? Please explain to me.
The Bulls were not capable of beating the Pistons in 89. Even with the referee's help, they have no bench. Michael Jordan got to play the whole goddamn game. If Michael Jordan sit down, the Pistons going to run off about 30. Isaiah could rest, and Vinnie Johnson can come in the microwave and hit y'all with a quick 15-burger off the bench. You have Dave Corzine out there on the court. Dude, what do you want me to tell you? I keep telling you. And you still have not made a point yet. Not one. I told you to name a Chicago Bulls team that could deal with the 89 Pistons. And all you're doing is solidifying my point. You have no team from the Chicago Bulls that could mess with the 89 Pistons.
How come they didn't win 89? How come Scottie Pippen in Game 6, but to make it seem like these guys were unbeatable or they're the greatest team of all time, but there's no Chicago Bulls team that's better than them? You're a fool, man. Like I said,
name one.
You're just a straight fool. You're just talking all emotion here. You're being all emotional.
You're the only one that's emotional. You've been emotional for 20 minutes of saying nothing.
Looking in reality, once again, you're not critically thinking. And that's how a lot of these guys are, man. Like I said, they're women. They're emotions, man. This guy's getting all emotional in this video.
You're the only one emotional.
I'm tired of this, man. What are you tired of, dude? Tired of what? Tired of what? Don't disrespect. Disrespect to who? To who? If there's any disrespect thrown at Isaiah Thomas, it's because of him. Because of private plane. That's how emotional he got. He was like, yo, the Pistons had their own private jet. They were the first ones to have a plane. No one else had a plane. And you think that's helping your case here? So you're basically telling me that Michael Jordan, everyone else in the NBA, was flying commercial, which is what he was saying, and the Detroit Pistons were flying on their own private jet. Everyone else.
It ain't what I'm saying. Why don't you try looking it up?
Flying commercial, and you're bragging about that.
Don't you got Chat GBT? Ask Chat GBT. What I'm saying, everything I said was a fact.
Being that it was harder for them? Don't know Michael Jordan. You're saying you're from Chi-Town? You have no clue who Michael Jordan is. 88 is his best season? Why? Because you're looking at stats and accolades?
Stats and accolades. You're looking at stats and accolades? That's because you Chicago Bulls fans say that's his best season. Not me. Y'all say that was the best Michael Jordan in 88 because he won all those awards. So, yeah, you have to argue with the Bulls fans on that one, sir. I felt he was a better player in like 96, 97, 98, that Mike, when he was MJ. See, when he was MJ, that made sense to me.
How was that his best season when his team wasn't really fine-tuned yet? His game, his overall offensive game wasn't fine-tuned yet. It wasn't there yet. So when
I believe it.
Again, the understanding of the game wasn't there yet. IQ, all these things
IQ wasn't there yet. You're right. It wasn't there yet. It wasn't there in 91, wasn't there in 92, wasn't there in 93.
The full swing in the early 90s, man. That's why it all culminated the way it did. It's not an accident that they won 3 in a row. It's not a mistake. It's because Michael Jordan kept working on his game after.
No, it wasn't about that. It wasn't because he kept working on his game. It was because they kept using the expansion draft and they demolished what was the Eastern Conference. And it was just like basically how it is now. Everybody, all the teams was decimated. Did you see the Knicks and what they looked like back then? They were redoing the teams all over and over and over again. Everybody had some old pieces mixed in with the new pieces, and it was only getting worse. They did 2 expansion drafts back to back. They brought in Orlando, and they brought in who they bring in? Orlando and Minnesota. Then they had the Miami Heat come in, and they had who was that? The Miami Heat. And what was the other team? Who? They had 4 teams. That's right. Round ball 1, baby. We had 4 teams. Yeah, in the Charlotte Hornets. So you got 4 teams coming into the NBA that's decimating all of the other teams. They're all taking players from everyone else. So you had the Charlotte Hornets come in, then they come up with in 96 or 95, they come out. So you got 6 teams that joined the NBA in less than 5 years. So in 95, they come in with Toronto and Vancouver, the Canada invasion, to decimate it some more. So that in 96, 97, and 98, all these teams have gotten weaker. But the Bulls keep their nucleus. And you telling me they didn't want the Bulls to win. They were rock stars, dog. The Chicago Bulls, the last 3 championships, they were rock stars. The NBA wanted them to go out the way they did. Guaranteed. They were a ticket. They were a draw. Right. They had nobody on the bench. They'd be like, take anybody you want on the bench. Who's they gonna send to the draft? First, as soon as we win the championship, what do? They take Rick Mahorn. We offered them draft picks. We offered them everything. In the middle of the celebration, they take Rick Mahorn. And you talking about they wanted us to win.
88. He just stopped.
That's what I'm talking about. A guy that knows nothing about our organization.
Yeah, I'm the best version of myself. I'm gonna stop working in 88 and start, doing nothing. Like that. You ain't never played sports, and I damn sure don't think you can make up a flight of stairs right now. Take some of the energy and challenge.
I just made it up a flight of steps. What kind of fitness coach is this?
Pistons guys on his team because he knew about them. Dude, Sad didn't play any minutes. Edwards didn't play any minutes. These guys rolled the coattails of Jordan, and you're actually bragging about them being on the Bulls, Sally and Edwards? They played no minutes. They gave 0 contribution to that team, and they got rings for it, man. They should be thanking Michael Jordan. You're over here acting like Michael Jordan should be thanking them. They didn't do nothing for Michael Jordan, nothing for that Bulls team.
That's because you don't know anything. If you knew anything, you would know they did a lot. But this is exactly what I was talking about with this kind of behavior.
Edwards and Sally. Yes, Rodman was a key member, absolutely. But once again, where was Rodman on the Pistons? Where was Rodman on the Pistons? Man, they try to act like Rodman on the Pistons was trash. like he wasn't good. He came to the Bulls and all of a sudden he was the best player ever. He made.
Wow. What was Rodman on the Pistons? Jesus Christ. This has got to be the most Looney Tune man I've ever heard. This has got to be the most Looney Tune statement I've ever heard. This is Looney Tunes. This man said, what was Rodman on the Detroit Pistons? I told you he don't know what he's talking about. I told you. Where was Rodman on the Detroit Pistons? I don't even think that deserves an answer.
Piece, my man. All right? And Michael Jordan's greatness is not like Isaiah Thomas being the best player in the Pistons, nowhere close to Michael Jordan, man. Nowhere close. And that's the problem for Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas, in his heart, right? In his mind, he believes that it was, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, Michael Jordan. He was never on that level. Never on that level. His game is great, man. Great player. He's not an MVP winner. Never even close to getting an MVP, Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, he was. He was close to winning it in 86 when he led the NBA in assists, almost 14 assists a game. Stockton or Magic never averaged that many assists while averaging about 24 or 25 points a game. Yeah, he was MVP in 86. They gave it to Larry Bird.
It's not in that era, man. He wasn't great enough. Remember, where was Isaiah?
He wasn't great enough. Jesus Christ. Boy, this guy needs to learn something. Please do research. This kind of talk is dangerous. I mean, it's real dangerous. Yeah, it's wild, ain't it, to hear somebody talk this outlandish? It's like, dude, this is crazy talk. Like, I expect a crazy person to have this type of meltdown. Like, I expect a complete lunatic to have this type of statement. But yeah, so I can't even listen to no more. It's that crazy. And yet he is still not named one team of the Chicago Bulls that was better than the Detroit Pistons. That was the whole question. That was supposed to be the purpose of the video that he was supposed to make. But he spent 30 minutes ranting all over the place about Isaiah, the Pistons, everything, and he's way off base. Telling me everything he didn't learn from a documentary. He knows nothing about what he's talking about. He need to research what he said himself to see how stupid what he said was. That was unbelievable. And I weep for the future. Oh, yeah.
All the commercials and the Gatorade, the Coca-Cola, the McDonald's.
Here we go.
Are you kidding me?
Let's get to it.
If you think that Michael Jordan can hold Isaiah Thomas down, you are smoking crack, young man. And I wouldn't advise doing that. See, the Pistons have a system. Isaiah would get everybody the ball, control the floor, and then Isaiah would come in and close the game. In the last 6 minutes, he was known as Mr. Clutch. Look at this. Isaiah. Craig was guarding him then. Here's Joe Dumars. Swing, swing. Isaiah over Jordan. Jordan, that's how you going to defend Isaiah? Do you not know who he is? Splash. What's happening, Mike? It's winning time. What's up?
What's up?
Come on, MJ. Swing it, Joe, to Isaiah. Come on, Mike. What? That's Jordan, right? MJ, what's up? MJ, you're doing some LeBron James stuff. What's going on, Michael Jordan? Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Is that how you gonna guard Isaiah Thomas? Is that how you gonna guard Isaiah? We own this bum. This is why he's mad at Isaiah. Because that's the only guy he couldn't really get. Put him out every year. Here it is again. Isaiah, where you at, Mike? Oh, he missed. Oh, get back to Zeke again. Oh, we'll fix it. Oh! Where you at, Mike? Come on, MJ. Get to Zeke. That's Joe to Zeke. Layup. It's too easy. Bunch of bums. Yeah, y'all nothing to us. They're nothing to us. Look, he's in there torture. Game 6, it's the closeout game. That's what you do. Winners win. Here come MJ. Pull up 3. Oh! Here come MJ. Put him away, MJ. Uh-oh. Now, Isaiah hurt his leg. He got his leg wrapped up. He hurt his hamstring. So he can't penetrate. So he just finna pull up. Okay. You want to play, Mike? Let's play. I can't even penetrate like that. Zeke got his hamstring wrapped up. I ain't coming out. It's an elimination game. I'm not going to game 7 with Joy. We getting rid of these bums tonight. Give it to Zeke. Pull up. This is what we do. That's the Detroit Pistons. I don't want to hear nothing else no more about no Michael Jordan telling me about Isaiah Thomas wasn't this. I know what Isaiah Thomas is. Oh, come on, please. Y'all gonna give him that? Do you not know he's the greatest player to ever touch a basketball? Hey, go ahead. You run the point. See, Isaiah's playing the 2 now. Now he's just going to run off a curl. So, Michael Jordan, this is your guy. Isaiah's your guy, Mike. Joe is running the point now. Isaiah is finna close the game out. Paxton's guarding him. It's your guy, Mike. You got Zeke. So, look, he's supposed to stay with Zeke. How you lose him, Mike? How you lose the guy that's scoring all the points? Mr. I can do every goddamn thing. Michael Jordan, supposed to be the greatest. Come fly with me, bastard. You would never, Michael. You would never, ever Isaiah Thomas. Don't ever get this confused. They have been lying to you because you guys have been watching documentaries all the damn time. That's what's been going on around here. Y'all haven't seen these games. I don't blame you. They don't show them to you because they want this would destroy what you built in your brains as, oh my God, he's just so unstoppable because you watch the highlights. You don't know what was going on. We were better than them. Isaiah was better than Michael Jordan. I know it's real weird to say that, right? But I'm showing you he was. Why? Because he was smarter than Michael Jordan. Jordan had to develop to become great. By the time he did that, Isaiah and them are retired and gone. So now you're getting the picture. Mike became greater, right? He was no longer this guy here. This is Air Jordan. Okay, Air Jordan's going to give you some flashy dunks. He's going to do some spectacular move. That was Air Jordan. Air Jordan wasn't the greatest. Okay, but he was exciting. He was box office. He was the guy that was going to bring people in. Now, let's continue. Because you see the guy that's putting him out, Isaiah Thomas. They can't do nothing with Isaiah. Nothing with him. Once again, now Michael's got Isaiah. You got Zeke, right? You got Zeke, right? Let's go. Look, they just waiting on Zeke. Where are you, Michael? You turned him over to Horace Grant? You scared to guard Isaiah? This is what I'm talking about. Isaiah's the only one cooking y'all, and you are scared to guard him. You are scared. Scared. Where the Bull fans at? You scared to match up with the greatest player of all time, who was better than you. His whole career, he was better than you. You got all the commercials and the Gatorade, the Coca-Cola, the McDonald's. You got all these sponsorships. Meanwhile, this little guy on the west side of Chicago was busting your ass every time, and we saw it. Don't tell me about no Michael Jordan. Isaiah busts him up every time. When it's winning time and it's closeout time, accept no substitute. The greatest player to ever touch a basketball, right there. Isaiah Lloyd Thomas the third. Bird, Magic, Jordan, beat them all. The NBA didn't pick them. He beat the guys that they picked. That's why I roll with Isaiah Thomas, because he was a little guy who's 5'11", taking down giants. Slaying them. First little man to win a championship. That's what I'm talking about. That's winning. That's perfection. That's greatness. Don't tell me about this bum from Akron, this bum over here from North Carolina with all the commercials and he Air Jordan. I'm like, dude, I seen you. You couldn't do nothing with Zeke. You ain't Isaiah. No way. You weren't in our class. You ain't even in our class. No, you was an offensive player. Look, he want to go to his fadeaway, do his little jump shot. Look. Yup, Zeke, what up? What's up? What's up? Come on. It's too easy. Come on, man. Really? Blowing these bums out of the water. Look, and it's been one man, Isaiah. Y'all been watching the game. It's only Isaiah. Where's anybody at? Come on, Mike. Now there's Zeke. What's up? Oh, how you go for that, Mike? How you go for that, Mike? How you go for that? Huh? How you going for that? Come on, Mike. Why you giving it up? Oh, Isaiah. Oh! You see that pass? You see that pass off the rebound? You see that? You see that pass from the rebound? This is what I'm talking about, greatness. Look at this. Zip. The greatest player to ever play the damn game. I'm glad y'all get to see this because y'all never got to see Isaiah Thomas before. So I'm glad y'all seeing Isaiah Lloyd Thomas III. And now y'all see what time it is and you see how great he is. And you see he was a stopper. That's the guy that put you out every year. You see that face Jordan got? Who you think gave it to him? That's why he hate Isaiah Thomas. Because he know he was better than you. Everybody know it. That's why you hate him. You won 6 championships and you know it don't mean a damn thing because you couldn't beat Isaiah at his best. Yeah, you got the sweep on them, but Isaiah was injured. Yeah, that face right there. See, that's the most replayed right there, that face. That's perfect. Yeah, that was the face right there. Send him right home every year. Go on and cry. Go home and cry. Yeah, that's what you do. The Pistons made you, bum. Don't you ever forget that. Isaiah Lloyd Thomas III is the reason. Isaiah was the best. And I'm telling y'all, there's no question. I've seen it. Every time you couldn't do nothing to stop Zeke. Every time it was time to win the game, you knew who was getting the ball. Why you didn't step up, Michael Jordan? Great defensive player of the year. You had won defensive player of the year, MVP. You had all those awards, right? They gave you all that, scoring title, everything. You went up against Isaiah and got smoked. Where was that defensive player of the year? Y'all saw his defense? Did you see Isaiah was easily scoring on him? Whooping his ass? Didn't we just watch that?
So now y'all see, right? Now you see. See, seeing is believing now. It wasn't all the Pistons wasn't hitting them. They wasn't fouling the Bulls, nothing. No, they were running plays, right? And whooping their ass. So now I don't want to hear nothing because now you get to see what's real and what's fake. All them highlights they were showing you was garbage. You saw what was happening during running time. Michael Jordan didn't step up. So it was on him. Michael Jordan missed like 6 free throws in that game. Down the stretch. He missed like 6 free throws in that game. That's another thing they don't tell you. He choked. That loss was on him. He couldn't stop Zeke. And when he got to the line, he was done. He was done. Matter of fact, let me see, because I'm going off memory. Let me see right here. Okay, here we go. Isaiah had 33. Good Lord. Jordan had 32. But this doesn't, I need the box score. Okay, there we go. Let me share that with you. I'm going to share this with you so y'all can see what time it was. 103 to 94. Let's get to this box score. Let's see. We're going to all see right here. Isaiah, 33 points. 4 assists because he went to the 2 after he got injured and was really lighting their ass up. Let's get to the Bulls. There we go. Jordan. 32 points. Free throw. There it is. What did I say? He missed like 6 free throws, right? He was 5 of 12 from the free throw line. Michael Jeffrey Jordan in that game was 5 of 12 from the free throw line. He blew that game. 5 of 12 from the free throw line. Told you, I'm going off memory because I watched the game. I saw what happened. Jordan got his foul calls down the stretch. He couldn't hit the free throws. That's why he started lifting weights at the summer, because of that game. Game 6 in 1989. It wasn't 1990. He was hitting weights in 89 because of this game. He got tired. See, I know what actually happens because I watch the games. See, it's a lot different from watching documentaries. I've watched the games. I lived it. I watched Michael Jordan get tired, and Isaiah took him to school. As you just saw, he took that boy to school, and he couldn't do nothing. He got so tired, he put Horace Grant on him. He couldn't even follow him on a curl. Jordan competed, but he was ineffective. He couldn't do anything. He got to the free throw line. He couldn't hit the free throws. He choked. He choked game 6. I'm telling you, this was the most embarrassing game in Michael Jordan's history of being eliminated in a playoff. This was an elimination game, and Michael Jordan choked. You're looking right at it. 5 of 12 on the free throw line. If LeBron would have had that stat line, y'all would have drove him into the ground in an elimination game. So now you see. now you see, right? All right. That's it. That's all. Bad Boys. Once again, we win.